but the interesting thing to me, well, one most interesting thing to me about this whole saga with Galileo was the dynamics of the debate as it raged, if you will, between Bellarmine, who was the Pope's bulldog, cardinal, and Galileo. Now they didn't do face to face, mano y mano, right? But through their writings, directly or indirectly, or pronouncements, that you could pit them against each other, because Bellarmine gives a great argument, it seems to me, for the fact that the sun is not the center, as Copernicus suggested, and as Galileo picks back up on him. And it's been a number of decades between Copernicus and Galileo, where most of Copernicus's views were already vetted, and
Right.
people said, "Yeah, the math looks fine, but it's not really true." And so Galileo comes back and revives the thing and starts poking people in the eye about this. But here was what Bellarmine argued. He said, "Look, we know that the Earth is standing still. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
We can look around. I'm not moving right now. And we
Right.
know the sun is moving because we see it go across the sky. But we also know it theologically and exegetically, because Joshua chapter 10, it says that Joshua commanded the sun to stand still." Well, Bellarmine argued, you can't command something to stand still if it's not moving. So obviously, biblically speaking, it's moving. So you're not only wrong, Mr. Galileo, Mr. Copernicus, scientifically, because all of the universities rejected Copernicus, as far as I can tell. There was nobody that was sympathetic. Well, maybe some
Right.
relatives are sympathetic, but it wasn't the prevailing view. Sort of like
Right.
evolution today. It's the prevailing view, even though you've got maybe some dissenters
Right.
in the ranks. But at any rate, so you're not only wrong scientifically, but you're wrong exegetically. We know that from Scripture, that is moving. Well, now today we say, well, actually, relative to the sun, the Earth is what's moving. It's rotating on its axis. That's what gives us day and night, and it's orbiting the sun with a 23-degree axial tilt, which gives us the seasons. And the sun is stationary relative to the Earth. So what do we do with Joshua 10 then? What do we do with that passage? Well, it's very illustrative, because now we don't believe that Joshua chapter 10 teaches literally that the sun was moving and the earth was standing still. And they use other verses from Psalms about the foundations shall not be shaken to argue for a
Right.
stationary earth. So how do we treat that exegetically? Well, we made a hermeneutical move there that we didn't make up just to deal with this problem verse in Joshua 10. It was a hermeneutical move that we already were using for verses of scripture. And it's the move of understanding a verse phenomenologically, or as language of appearance,
Right.
right? So sometimes the Bible talks in terms of the appearance of things. And in fact, one that I think is indisputable, a phenomenological or language of appearance, is Joel chapter 2,
Right.
because it says the moon will turn to blood. I know nobody that thinks it
Right.
literally is going to become liquid with
Right.
corpuscles and plasma
Right.
and antibodies. Yeah, nobody. No, it turns to blood, meaning it turns red as blood is red. It's the language of appearance there. All right. So in a presentation I do in some of the classes about this truth is correspondence to reality. We didn't use that expression, but that's what we would say. When we say it is raining, then the statement is true if it corresponds to reality. It's actually raining in reality. But what I think gets understated in our defense of the correspondence theory of truth is that we have to help people realize there's different ways to correspond. A
Right.
statement can be literally true, as Jesus walked to Bethany, so he literally walked, or a statement could be in terms of language of appearance. The sun moved, the sun stood still. This is how it appears. The moon turned to blood. That's just, it turns red. That's how it appears. So you've got the phenomenological. It could still be a true statement. It's just phenomenologically true.